Old school RuneScape. It's a game that we've played for a long time. I've been playing personally since I was a kid, and we always love to talk about how awesome it was back in the day. But what about the bad things that we don't really talk about? I have so many stories of happening to me where I would just be so sad for like a few days because of it. So today's video log, let's consider this a story retelling of how to do the Moonlight Mead scam. You won't have heard of this scam before, even if you've been playing for 20 years, and you'll find out why at the end of this video. All you need to know is that I was the sucker and I got my ass scammed. For the record, as a kid, I was not the brightest. I definitely fell for some honorable mentions. Just to knock them off the list quickly, I fell for the noted Iron Rune Scimitar swap scam, which is the main reason why there's the flashing red light whenever you remove something from the trade screen nowadays. Alright, roast me all you want. I also fell for the free armor trimming. Yeah, I know, bit embarrassing. And I also managed to lose my best friend's whip by following a guy to the wilderness, picking up his 4 Torax hammers and then getting D-long spec to the forehead and protecting those over the whip as the alch value was higher. If you yourself have suffered from being item scammed, drop a like on this video, subscribe, hit the bell icon and comment down below. Before I continue, I just wanted to thank ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video and supporting the channel as of the last 4 or 5 months already. I really love their service and I definitely highly recommend it. It protects you and hides your location, as well as also hiding your personal information, location, and many other things that you wouldn't want everybody to know. I personally started using ExpressVPN to protect my IP from DDoS attacks, which unfortunately is quite a big problem in the Osrs community, and you don't want to lose your stuff, so just protect yourself. It is really easy to use ExpressVPN. It's just one click to protect yourself. You can choose any location you want. Not only is ExpressVPN amazing for privacy and security, if you change location, you also gain access to a lot of other content around the world that would have otherwise been restricted to you. Hey Jimmy. So if you're interested in a one-click solution to your internet needs, I personally use it for the much larger variety of shows on American Netflix. So you can now get 3 months free by clicking the link in the description or visiting expressvpn.com/lagunarium. Alright lads, and we'll finally be moving on to my favourite story that I wanted to tell for a while now. The good old Moonlight Mead scam. So back in the day, there were all these trading areas where people would sell and buy items, and there were thousands of people around. Pretty much every tile around these areas would just have 2 or 3 people around them. So, to understand how I was stupid enough to fall for this, you gotta understand, I gotta take you back, put you in my shoes as a 10-year-old kid, back when my peanut brain and cognitive dissonance was basically non-existent. So, back in the day, I was something of a pretty good mercher, I'd say. I had about 700k, I had a dragon chain body, I was doing pretty well. And sometimes you'd see in the bank that there'd be somebody selling something for 200k on the right side, and someone buying it for 205k on the other side, so you'd buy it from one guy, and sell it to the other one. This only worked because back in the day there were so many people, obviously. And that brings us to the start of how I got my scam. You know how it is. Back in the day, we used to all play Clan Wars. I used to love this minigame, and we'd always idle in between games, and there'd be about 20 to 30 people just standing here, selling and buying stuff, like in the Varrock Bank, like in the Camelot Bank. And then this guy showed up. This absolute mad lad was geared in full DH. Back in the day, seeing a guy like this is like seeing Zezima. Like, you would have dreams about him thinking, wow, I want to be like that guy when I grow up. So as expected, in typical scammer fashion, he would walk over to me and he said, hey, trade. And that's all he said. So of course, you're just going to trade him. You're curious, right? He's piqued your curiosity. And he showed me every Barrow set, a Robin Hood hat, cash, and a Fury. So of course, I'm just thinking, well, what's this? Is he just showing off? Is he bragging? And the thing about RS at this point, most people have been playing long enough that they kind of suspect scamming is coming, and they expect it to be in a trade in one go. But people didn't make that much of an effort to go through with anything more than that. And then the punchline comes through. I'll give you all for the new Moonlight Mead item. At this time, I hadn't even completed Dragon Slayer. Nobody had done any quests. Nobody knew about updates, and it usually took the high level players to teach everybody how things worked and how much each thing was worth. So a little disappointed, but obviously I didn't have the item, so declined and said no, sorry, and usually that would be the end of the interaction, and I didn't think anything of it. The most typical line here that you would expect would be, well, follow me to the wilderness and I'll reward you, or something like this, but it was just Very plain and simple. If you see someone selling it, please let me know. That's all it was. Just a small kind gesture, and as a nice guy back in the day, I would just be like, okay, no worries. And I ended up just adding the guy, not suspecting a thing at all. Another thing I noticed is he walks everywhere to make it seem less sus. I don't know if that's a thing, but he did, I'm telling you. I'm still victimized by it. I can vividly remember getting scammed by this guy and the guy walking up to me in Castle Wars. Walking, not running. So of course, stage 1 is complete. He's set up his scam and I have him added thinking he's just a guy looking to buy some Moonlight Mead, an item I've never heard of, never seen, and am most likely very unlikely to ever run into. But of course I wouldn't be here making this video if that were the case. So about 24 hours later, it's 4 PM, I'm just home from school, get on the PC, and what do I see? Selling Moonlight Mead in Castle Wars where I logged in. Can you believe it? What are the odds? But 10-year-old me, isn't that what that guy was looking for? The guy who offered me all those items? Let's trade him and see what he wants for it. Back in the day, we also did not have trade values. There was no way to know how much each item was. You would just be able to say what you want, and if someone is willing to pay for it, it's supply and demand, basically. So, of course, asking how much, he says it's a new item. Once again, reaffirming what the guy said to me the day before. And then he's like, you want to buy? And basically, he's got me in his pocket at this point. After haggling for the item for a little bit, I noticed that my friend is online from the day before, and I message him asking if he is still looking for the Moonlight Mead. The scammer then replies that, of course, he's still doing the deal, and he's even chucking in some bonus runes. What an absolute legend. Yo, genuinely, how were we this stupid as children? So, of course, it's pretty simple math, right? 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4. Well, this guy's offered me 4 barrow sets, which is the equivalent of showing someone 28 Elijahs in their inventory nowadays. And I'm willing to give him my whole bank for this beautiful beverage, the Moonlight Mead. My heart was pumping, I was so excited, I was about to make bank. I just got the Moonlight Mead that he wanted, and I go to the friends elite, and in classic tradition, yeah, after buying it, I realized it was worth 5 GP from this guy.